Hello, my name is Ralf Friedrichs. I'm an addiction recovery coach and the host of Take Your Life Back Today show. As an addiction recovery coach, I'm going to share something with you, and let me be crystal clear to leave an everlasting impact upon you. Just imagine being buried alive. You're in a coffin, but you know you're not dead. You don't know how to get out of the coffin. You try lifting the lid, but the enormous weight of the dirt prevents you from lifting the lid. You try banging on the lid to maybe unsettle the dirt, and maybe somebody will start digging their way down towards you. This is what it feels like to be at your lowest point of alcohol and drug addiction. You know you need help, you know you can't do it on your own, but you don't know who to turn to. You just think you're going to die. Usually, though, people don't think about death when they're habitually abusing drugs and alcohol. In order to feed an addiction, you have to be great at repressing the fear of death. I often ask you, my audience, did it ever cross your mind that while you were abusing drugs and alcohol that you might overdose? That you might take what God gave you away? And if that's not selfish enough, more selfishly, is that you're taking away from someone that loves you, needs you, cares for you, the most precious thing, your life, away from them. People like your mother, your father, your husband, your wife, your brother, your sister, your children, and your little grandchildren. With this, let me leave one last thought. Don't be like the person that I'm reading about on these index cards that waited and waited until it was too late to get help. Instead, be the person that picks up the phone and calls me at 844-405-HELP, and I promise you, I will help you take your life back, for your life is gone. People like Larry Geist from the Geist Academy, 30 years experience as a life coach and addiction recovery coach. He can be found at 516-458-2741 or www.odysseyconsultant.org. Larry Geist and I always tell folks, it doesn't matter where you came from. It doesn't matter where you've been. What matters is that you're reaching out for help today because you want a better tomorrow. Larry Geist will help you from your addiction to recovery, from depression to happier times, from low self-esteem to raising your self-esteem. What you need to do is pick up the phone and call Larry Geist from the Geist Academy at 516-458-2741. 516-458-2741. Larry Geist from the Geist Academy. Folks, I always tell you guys and ask you guys, please take your slippers off at night before going to bed, but instead of leaving it on the edge of your bed, just put them under your bed, all the way under, like almost halfway, within arm's length. In the morning when you wake up and you look out your window and you see the sun and you see maybe waterfall in the stream, realize then that God is allowing you to live another day on this earth. Get out of bed. Retrieve those slippers. They're under your bed. Arm's reach. Go get them. Now, while you're on your knees, utilize your knees to do a thing called knee mail. K-N-E-E mail. Knee mail is your personal chat line, your personal fax, your personal email, your personal mail service between you and God. Ask God for guidance. Ask God for direction. Ask God for forgiveness and mercy. Thank God that you're able to see that stream and that waterfall, because through God everything is possible. Thank God for a relationship you might have, for a home you might have, for food, shelter, and your children. Thank God and ask God each and every day, each and every morning. Now put on your slippers, stand straight up, roll those shoulders back, stick your chest out, and walk with God 24/7. Tonight, repeat the same thing. Take your slippers off, put them under your bed. Tomorrow morning, pick them up, and you get what I'm saying. Folks, how would you pick a president? The choices right now is Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. Those are our two choices. Everyone else is eliminated. So you have to vote with your conscience, and you can also vote to see what the scriptures say about how to pick a president. Interested in hearing what the Bible tells us about choosing the right person to be our national leader? Well, are you? We Americans get the chance again this year. So now is the time to get settled in our heads the kind of person that he or she should be. When you vote for a presidential candidate, to what character traits do you give priority? Select up to 3. Now, I have certain traits. Pick 3 of them, and I'll tell you what the percentage. There were a total of 2,290 votes. The first one that came in was faithful to God. That is a trait to look for at 31.89%. Second one came in faithful to the Constitution at 24.35%. Next one, personal integrity at 17.6%. The next one is patriotism, defender of the nation, 16.53%. Faithful to family, 7.21%. Humility, 2.42%. Total of votes was 7,182. And those were the orders that people seemed to pick. The campaign to select the next president of the United States is now officially within 100 days of voting. It's not a moment too soon for us to think about what we should be looking for. Don't wait until November to do this. Fortunately, the scriptures give us some guidance. Moses, as he prepared the people of Israel to enter the land of promise, foresaw the day when the nation would choose a king for itself, and would do so with God's blessing. You may indeed set a king over you, whom the Lord your God will choose. That came out of the Bible, Deuteronomy 17:14 through 20. A king, of course, is a nation's chief political figure. In America, we have presidents, not kings, although we currently have a president who acts like a king, meaning Obama, and we have the rare privilege of selecting our chief political leader ourselves. If it was incumbent that Israel's king be a man of God's choosing, it is equally incumbent upon us to select a president of God's choosing. So what criteria should we use in identifying such a man or a woman? There are 6 of them. He must be a patriot, one from among your brothers, who shall set a king over you. You may not put your foreigner over you, who is not, I repeat, not your brother. Our founding fathers, perhaps influenced by the passage, insisted in our Constitution that every president be a natural-born citizen. Why is this important? Because a president, just like Israel's king, must have profound allegiance to the people of his or her country, an allegiance that is rooted in their heart and soul. He or she must be an American first, a citizen of the world second. We have seen over the last 6 years, or actually over the last 7.5 years, what a president looks like who sees himself as a citizen of the world first, and who puts America's needs and interests second to whatever he perceives to be our responsibility to be good global citizens. No, we need a president of unquestioned loyalty to his country and its people first, whose primary concern is safety and well-being of the citizens of this land called United States of America. He or she must believe in strong national defense, only he must not cause the people to return Egypt in order to acquire many horses, since the Lord has said to you, you shall never return that way again. Israel was not dependent in any way on Egypt and its horses for its military strength. Similarly, we need a president who is determined to make our military the strongest, mightiest in the world, completely sufficient in itself to protect our national sovereignty and national interests. He must be a commander-in-chief who puts military readiness ahead of any trendy causes such as homosexuality, privilege, or gender equality, which erode military capability. He must be a faithful husband or a faithful wife, and he shall or she shall not acquire many wives or husbands for themselves, lest his heart or her heart turn away. It is imperative that we have a president in the White House who models for America what marriage and family are supposed to be. Given the deteriorating condition of American family, we need a leader who shows the nation what a good husband or wife does. He must be a man or woman of impeccable integrity, nor shall he acquire himself excessive or herself excessive silver and gold. He or she must be free from any hint of corruption, free from any hint that he or she is in public office to line their own pockets or the pockets of other cronies, and free from any hint that he or she views on public policy can be swayed or influenced by large donors. I think we know one of the candidates who does that. He or she must be a man or woman of humility, that he or she, her heart, may not be lifted above their brothers. We cannot afford to have another example of what the Democratic strategist Pat Cadell calls a raging narcissist in the Oval Office. We need a president who is not flushed with arrogance and hubris and conceit, but a man or woman who is humbled by the awesome responsibility of his or her office and has awareness of his or her own limitations. He or she must be a student of Scripture and the Constitution, and when he or she sits at the throne, he or she shall write for themselves in a book of a copy of the law, and he or she shall read in all days of their life, that he or she may learn to fear the Lord their God by keeping all the words in his or her law. We need a president who is unapologetic man or woman of Christian faith, who reveres the Word of God, immerses he or she herself in it, and is guided by such a man or a woman, because he or she will not turn aside from any commitment or commandment, either to the right hand or to the left, will be vigorous in protecting religious liberties, the sanctity of life, and the sanctity of marriage. The law of Moses was the constitution of national of Israel. Just as the king was to be a student of the constitution of his day, so we need a president who studies our constitution, understands it, embraces it, will be guided by it, will be bound by its limitations, and will never deviate from it either to the right or to the left. America is at a critical moment in our history right now. If we are to retreat from the brink of moral abyss on which we stand, we need a president who will show us the way. Let us choose very wisely. Choose with your conscience. You have Donald Trump, who has flaws, and you have Hillary, who has a lot of flaws. Choose which one you feel is a stronger leader. Choose which one you think has less baggage from the past. Now, what I just read, I didn't write. I didn't say I agree with it or disagree with it. So when you guys watch this, I know there's going to be some emails coming in saying, how can you feel that way? But remind you, I did not write it. I am merely the messenger here. But I will tell you this. I know which person I'll be voting for in good conscience. I know what the last 8 years has brought us, and I also know I don't want to extend that any further. With that, I hope you have the best day of your life, and may God bless you.